Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Zach Celadonia.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma, and joining me over here on my side, a normal early week companion and cohort A1, Zach Flash Celadonia, straight from Latrobe at St. Vincent's College. How's it going, Zach?
Awesome, man. So great. There's nothing like training camp. Being there to feel the changing of the season, smell football in the air. There's nothing like it. I'm so excited after getting home from today from Latrobe. I just flew in. Boy, my arm's tired.
Just flew in. You look a little red there, my friend, a little lobsterish.
It's just the lighting in here.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, no, there was overcast and I could feel myself baking up pretty good.
Let me tell you, I went to, I was actually somewhere different. I was in Indianapolis yesterday for the Brickyard race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And it was a little toasty there as well. And the ear, at least my left ear, it's still ringing a little bit from the humming of the cars and everything like that. So I'll be back at Latrobe this week several times, hoping to see some things. I know you got to see a couple other things today too. So you're going to lead a lot of this, and we'll just kind of fill in the blanks on the in-betweens, and also, you know, Mike Tomlin talking about pecking orders and things of that nature that really aren't as important as they went to make it say, or went to make it seem. So, without further ado, what stood out the most to you today? Like, what was the big highlight? What was the big highlight for Monday at training camp?
Oh yeah. These eyes have seen things today. I guess I'll just run down the line here. That makes the most sense. We'll go in chronological order. That's what I tried to do. Is I went back and looked at my tweets from the day, trying to keep everyone updated, and wrote everything down on scratch paper because I can't use my phone while we're recording. But the first thing I saw when I arrived at 2:00, just on time, fashionably late, don't want to be the first one to the party, I saw that Minka was doing his warming up with a coach off to the side while the rest of the team stretched. And he was using his right hand to catch footballs. And that's been a story, I suppose, if you're bored, about him not using his left hand, because I guess that's the injured hand or wrist that he suffered on the bicycle accident. Well, he switched and was using his left hand as well. So he was doing both hands catching the ball. I really think that his injury isn't serious whatsoever. I think he'll be back pretty soon. That's really it for Minka. He didn't do much. Next, we're getting right into the quarterback thing. I think Mitch it's almost clear. He's quarterback one. This was my first day there, but the first thing I saw was starting light, warming up, getting loose. They're doing a couple pass drills with the receivers. Everybody goes, and then Deontay gets in the line. There's not even a line anymore. He just jumps up in his jersey. I think he had a helmet on too, and he does a quick little rep with Mitch. Nobody else. Just jumps in to get a rep with Mitch, get some timing down. They move on to the next drill. Mitch is always first in everything. Like, if you've been there, he's first in all the team drills, all the on-air drills. He carries himself, and the Steelers treat him right now like it looks like they assume he's the lead dog, which isn't anything new. We've operated under that assumption on the show for a while, that it's his job to lose, and first day in pads carried with that trend. Mitch also was able to score at least two touchdowns that I was able to see. One being to Gunnar Olszewski when they were doing a pass scale drill. There were no linemen, but it was Mitch's first throw of the drill. And it looked like the intent of the drill was to work your way down to the end zone and score. I think they started about 30 yards away. Well, Mitch just took the first throw and hit Gunnar on, I think it was a flag route from the slot position, maybe a post. Gunnar, touchdown. And he hit Cody White a little later in practice for a touchdown. He can throw to his left.
Can I cut in on that for a second? Like, Gunner's been used a little bit more than I was anticipating in a wide receiver role, and I'm not exactly sure if that's just because of lack of Deontay Johnson. Was Chase Claypool out there today? I wasn't sure if I heard his name, because I know he banged up his shoulder or something the day
Not
before or something.
participating. He
Yeah, I
was in
didn't
his
think so.
jersey and stuff. He was not participating. There were
Yeah, and
some kids to my right screaming bloody murder to get his attention. I guess the kids love Chase, but that's all I have written down for Chase is the kids love Chase
yeah.
because these kids, I'm telling you, I thought about stopping on the way home at a hearing aid store because my right eardrum, it was getting blown out, man. I'm pretty patient, but at one point I had to look over. I didn't say anything, but I gave that like, like, are you serious look? Because it was going on for like 30 minutes, man. He's not coming over. Okay. Practice is going on. Wait till
Oh
the end like
man.
everybody else
Yeah.
and shut your kid up. The
That
parents, I blame them the most.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The yins are younglings or something. I don't know. We need a word for them. The
I don't blame
yinzerlings.
the kids if they don't know any better, man. Like I've been there before, but like the parents were just letting it happen. And these group of like 2 or 3 kids were the only ones. Like we were just in the start of practice. He's not coming over, dude, to sign anything. Not right now, anyway. At the end, I'm sure he would love to. But you're right. Gunner has impressed me in a sense that even my buddy who I went with today, he asked who 89 was once or twice, and he's like, dude, he's like good. Like he runs crisp routes. He's got good speed, good hands, and like I said, he had that touchdown from Mitch, which was an impressive catch. Fitted in a good window, and he was decently open. I have Mitch can throw to his left. That was a big internet joke for the past like 5 or 4 years that he can't, like his stats throwing to the left are terrible. 2 of his best throws to the day of today were rollouts to his left. And I wrote that down. I didn't see anything more than that, but twice I was like, oh, to his left. Like I was making a joke of it myself because I knew that was a thing people critiqued about him. Um, Next I have Kenny was 2 all day, Mason was 3 all day. And like you kind of hinted at right there, I'm not drawing any conclusions from that. It was cool to see, and I'm glad the timing worked out with my first day that Kenny got to work with the 2s all day. And I get that a general public opinion, it's hard not to. You're going to think that this means Mason is demoted right now, right
No, no,
away.
no.
And I even heard interviews on the way home with Pittsburgh reporters saying it certainly looked that way. And my heart of hearts, I would love to think that. I would
Oh
love to
well.
lean into that narrative. But
Well,
I'm too,
you've turned the corner. You were on Twitter already saying you've been on the Rudolph train since 2018, and you saw
that's my boy.
you saw my response to that. But you know what's going to end up happening, right?
I've heard different theories. I've heard that Mason, at this point, no matter how good he looks, he's going to be the 3 regardless. And then I heard otherwise. Today was just I see you shaking your head. I'm telling you
No,
what I
I
heard,
know.
not what I think.
Yeah, I
not
know
what
what's
I think.
going to happen. They're going
I'm
to give
telling you
him
what I
first
heard.
team
I think
reps
they're going
in
to
like a
keep
day or
giving
two.
Mason like QB2 reps. Like today wasn't the beginning of the end for Mason, but it was encouraging and it was cool to see Kenny get his chance with the 2s because I tweeted this. I thought they had a draw today, Mason and Kenny. No one really did anything out of this world impressive. Neither one of them threw any picks. Oladokin threw the only interception that I noticed during not team. It was like a Pascal. And but Kenny and
Yeah.
Mason had a pretty even day, I would say. And as much as I would love to lean into that curve with the general public, I don't think it means that much. I think they're going to continue to rotate and give Mason his chances with the 2s again, possibly the 1s. But today it was definitely the Kenny show with the 2s, and Mason was doing the 3s. But leading off of that, I have that Mason only got 1 shot I think it was 7 shots. It's hard because they don't announce what they're doing and everything looks so similar. But
Yeah.
Mason's 1 shot that he got, it was a shovel pass to Sternberger, and it worked for a touchdown. So he did his job. I have written down that he throws with confidence. That's pretty clear. When he lets the ball go, he seems to have a good feeling of where it's going and where he wants it to go. When he doesn't, though, that's an issue I have with him is the rush was getting into his lap today a little bit, which a lot of people complain about. He had 2 balls batted down. And again, I gave this to Kenny, so I'm giving it to Mason. I think it's tough when you're playing with the 3rd-team line, even though you're going against 3rd team most of the time as well. 2 balls batted down hasn't been an issue for him yet in camp from what I've heard. So might have something to do with the lineman not being seasoned enough or coached up enough to know that as a lineman, you can help prevent that by keeping guys' arms down. I have that he was good with intermediate throws today. Again, this is all Mason. And both him and Kenny Pickett suffered from receivers dropping balls. In particular, I have Boykin, Vaughn, and little Hayward, Connor, dropped 2. And granted, Boykins and Vaughn's, they were diving efforts, still went through their hands. Hayward's were a little more rough, but Hayward was getting used so much today on all of the teams. I don't want to make excuses for him, but I can see where maybe he'd be fatigued and gassed because he was going with first team, second team, third team. I had made a joke. He was getting targeted like Antonio Brown today. It was crazy to see how
I
much
saw
action
that.
he was truly getting.
Hey, I was going to ask you this as well. How much of an actual delineation of first team, second team, third team was there today? Because it still seemed like Boykin was working with all three groups. Sternberger was maybe when I was out there for the first couple of days, it was even Rader and Sternberger. They were just kind of rotating everybody around. Anthony Miller, and I know some of that might get a little screwed up with maybe Claypool being dinged, Deontay doing his hold in. They just signed another receiver they signed Fryermuth still too. So they just signed another receiver just because they need a body to be able to participate and do all of these drills. And
I saw him today, yeah.
I was gonna ask with the pads if there was more of an actual. It still seemed like they did the same thing, like you just said, like offensive line 1, unit 1, 2,
That was
3,
the only way I could tell. What was the line units and the quarterback? It was continuous Mitch, Kenny, Mason all day. That's how I could keep up with it. It was a continuous. They would rotate 1, 2, 3, and yeah, I was trying to. The line was a good way to tell too, because like you said, yeah, you're getting like Anthony Miller, Connor Hayward, Pickens, obviously Boykin. They're all doing first team stuff, and then like being filtered in and out. So the only designation I have to go off of was the order they kept the quarterbacks in all day, and like you said, the offensive and defensive line. Like at one point when Mason was in, I was like, dude, I nudged my buddy. I was like, I have no idea like half of the defensive line right now. There was like a 66 out there. I was like, who the hell is that? So
you got to print a roster and bring it with you, man, because like I was going to ask you, since you were out here now and you're trying to do the Twitter deal, and that's why I do handwritten notes. It's like I can't put notes into like a note app and then also try and tweet and then also see what everyone else is tweeting, and maybe it's something I missed or name, number, sometimes looking at the roster.
Not everyone can do it, man. I'm built different.
Man,
I'm a cut above the rest. My buddy was making fun of me. He's like, dude, you're missing all the good stuff. I have my phone right here. I was like, no, dude, I'm getting the tweets right here. I'm seeing the plays. I was even doing this thing when I started to thread it. I was like, okay, next play, Kenny. Like I got them ready, like with the preamble. I had every tweet. I didn't miss anything. And I have fun with it. Really, it was cool to like keep the people updated, and it was hard. You know, my phone went from about 80% to 20 by the time I was leaving, and it was very hot. Think I'm due for a new iPhone, but at the end of the day, I was able to keep the people informed, and it's fun, but it's a grind, man. Like I said,
you need a battery pack. You need the external battery pack too, man. Come on, it's a rookie.
I should invest at this point.
Rookie stuff. Yeah, I mean, well, I know where you left off. I cut in, but you were saying with Connor Hayward.
Yeah, Connor was getting a lot of work today, a lot of targets. Next, I was going to bring up Kenny. Kenny looked way more comfortable in pads. I noticed that almost immediately. He just seemed more himself and more fluent in his motions. And I won't dissect that too far because it was one practice in pads, but he definitely looked more comfortable to me based off of what I heard the first few practices were like and today. Other people were saying that too that were around me. Now, he had no interceptions today, which sounds like I'm giving him like, oh, the shiniest turd in the toilet award, but no interceptions today. Connor had a drop touchdown. I noticed that in particular. That was during 7 shots. That was right before Mason did the aforementioned shovel pass to Sternberger for his chance. Connor dropped a touchdown. It wasn't like, oh, maybe. He was falling down and it went right through his hands and almost hit his helmet. So he did the same thing to Mason later in the practice as well. So Connor was trying really hard, but he had a little case of the dropsies today. I said that, or I wrote down that Kenny also looked good on some rollout passes, which we've come to expect. We've talked about on the show. That's one of his strong suits. Waited to see that. He's very decisive on quick throws, very hesitant on the deep throws. Now, I don't know if that's because he's worried about making a mistake after the way his first couple practices went, but there were at least 2 times that I counted that he could have let it go deep. Not sure how the play would have went, but based off of people behind me moaning and groaning and from what I could see from my own eyes, there were opportunities for him to unload it a little bit farther down the field than take the safe checkdowns. Every time he did that, it was completed, which is encouraging to see, but I would have liked to see him take a couple more shots. Granted, I understand nervousness, made mistakes before, first day with the 2s. Sure, he was a little hesitant to make those throws, but definitely not a perfect day from Kenny, but an encouraging day from the first round pick. I have that both Mason and Kenny, they were dumping off and checking down frequently, which isn't really a knock because I have after that in parentheses, no mistakes. So I'm not knocking that.
I think some of what was going on today, especially with pads, there was more concerned effort to maybe hand off the ball than there was when they were in shorts, get
A
some
lot of running,
contact.
yes, yeah, a lot of running in team and everything.
I heard there wasn't as many throws today, and I think a lot of it was down in situation type drills as well. And I
Yeah,
think
there
that
was
led
a
to
they
some
did
of it.
goal. I thought they were doing 7 shots. They started goal line, and Najee took it in for a touchdown. So I guess it wasn't 7 shots. Like that's what I mean. It was hard to keep up with like what they were doing as like team Pascal 7 shots. So I just try to treat everything like equally and just watch everything with this view. Like this isn't a designated drill that I know of, but I'll try to track what happens. Um, Next, we're done with quarterbacks now based off of that. We can go back and talk about them, of course. I'm not dictating the show, but I mean, that's all I had written down about the quarterbacks. Next, I have Pickens, dude. Pickens, and hate to use cliches. I hate to sound like so generic, like every other damn show, but he is, quotes, as advertised. I didn't get to see anything like crazy today, but well, first I noticed that they were doing a blocking drill right in front of me. It was really cool. I picked a good spot to post up at because, lo and behold, my favorite dudes, the wide receivers, best position in football, they're right in front of me warming up and doing drills. They did a blocking drill with the sled, and Pickens was the only one that Frisman Jackson, the receiver coach, singled out and had him go through again. And honestly, the first rep looked fine to me. But that shows me that they're giving him extra attention to detail. They want him to get it 100% right. They want him up to speed. Everybody who's played sports has heard that, hey, when the coaches stop yelling at you, they stop caring. Well, they weren't yelling at Pickens. He wasn't yelling at Pickens, but I think he is going out of his way to give him a little bit of extra coaching. Just a small little thing you can pick up on when you go to the practice as opposed to just trying to follow along online. He had 2 cool catches today. I have that written down, underlined, cool catches. The one was just in a distraction drill where Frisman Jackson, was standing there with a blocking pad and he was knocking their arms as they were catching the ball. He knocked his arms and it sprung free, and Pickens did like a and hauled it in and got a big ooh and ah from the crowd. Great job staying with it. You'd love for him to catch it cleanly, but sometimes you can make a play like that and have it work in a game. Not always, but sometimes. And then on the other side, during one-on-ones, he had a long touchdown from Arthur Mollett. Not from Arthur Mollett, on Arthur Mollett. I couldn't see who threw that. It was on one-on-ones, but it was a deep ball, and that was probably like the most excited the crowd got all day, aside from a random time that Najee threw a ball into the stands. Bounced right by me, no big deal, couldn't get it. Don't have the scoop and score skills as I once did as a youngin'. But Pickens, as advertised, it's all I had written down. He also had another diving catch. It was on the other side of the field, so I could hardly see. And it was only like a 10-yard catch, and it was a one-on-one. So I have that written down as a highlight, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. But he did lay out, and he caught it. So his hands are incredible.
I might have a shot at that, but I do have a shot. I think this is Boykin here with like the boxing glove where they're like punching out, trying to punch the ball out in some of the drills too.
It was just like that. Yeah, it wasn't that particular prop, but it was like was like a wing. Like you put your hands in it and you just like slap at dudes on the line, and that's what pried the ball loose on Pickens, who was able to corral it and finish the catch. So he has the walk and talk of a one, dude. You like you said, you can smell it, but when you see him, he sticks out among the whole group. I know Deontay and Chase are out, but he sticks out. It's evident. Boykin has the same dimensions as him, but it's not just because Pickens is a large person, a big presence. He carries himself like a one, and it's just every rep, every ball that is thrown his way. His last catch, I think I have written down of the day that I was able to track. Mitch hit him on a little 7-yard, 6-yard slant towards the middle of the field. He jumped up and like shielded off the defender with his whole body and caught it like with his knees tucked, which just showed like a great awareness of what was going on the field, where you are, and the importance of making that catch. You want to see him use his hands, but that's a veteran type of move when you like use your body to your advantage to shield off a defender like that. So another small thing that was really cool to see. He didn't leave me disappointed going through my first day going to watch training camp.
I didn't think he would.
No, thank God. Otherwise, I'd probably have a whole different vibe going on right now.
Yeah, go ahead, man. If you got some more notes, I'm loving it, absorbing some of it, and then we could compare some things. I'll go through some of the position groups. In fact, I kind of wrote some notes for the website that'll publish tomorrow, and it's almost all offense. Like I don't have a whole lot to say on the defense, not because the defense has been bad or done anything wrong, but because it's more or less these are the battles, these are the things we're looking at. There's not as many details that like really stand out defensively. It's like, okay, yeah, Miles Jack and Devin Bush and Robert Spillane. Spillane's getting a lot more reps than I thought he would. Like kind
Oh,
of
you
like
beat me to it, dude. You took the words from my mouth. My next
Okay.
note was actually like the only defensive stuff I have is that Miles Jack had a good day. Most people agree on that. If you've been on Twitter, he really stuck out today. There was a play that Benny Snell got a quick screen, and I'm telling you, Jack read it like the backside of a shampoo bottle when you're taking a poop. Like he was all over it before the ball even got there. He didn't deliver a blow because I think he was just being smart and didn't want to hurt himself or Benny Snell, but it was totally blown up. And he was all around the field in multiple ways today. And then at one point, James Robinson? No, Robinson, the 7th round pick, the linebacker. I'm struggling on his first name right now, but
it's Mark Robinson.
Thank you, Mark Robinson. He had a good stuff to end Team Joe. It was 3s on 3s, but he stuffed I think it was Durant for no gain or like a 1-yard gain. And it was such a nice pop that Alex Highsmith and Miles Jack both like sprinted onto the field and were like screaming, like they were so hyped for him. So that was cool to see that Jack has quickly assumed, and it seems like he appreciates the leadership role that has been bestowed upon him, because it's pretty evident that he's the best linebacker of the 3 that we have. Yes, Spillane had a good day too. He's getting rotated in pretty heavily. And I think if he's pushing for anyone's time, it's Bush's. I think it'll be more of a rotation of Bush and Spillane than a rotation of Miles Jack, Bush, and Spillane. I think Jack's going to be out there more often than not, and they'll rotate Bush and Spillane if the trajectory of practices continue. Because Spillane does, I know he has his flaws, but he does stick out in a way that he flies to the ball, he delivers pops, he's smart. I don't hate Spillane, especially as linebacker 3. He might get into trouble if he's starting every down for you, but as linebacker 3, it's hard to find a better guy than Spillane.
It's like a Vince Williams situation where
Really?
he's not going to be the strongest in pass coverage, but he can kick ass, like as far as blitzing maybe or stopping the run. And so you're just hoping, like, let's not kid ourselves. Where did Bush kind of suck last year? He wasn't filling the right gaps. And I understand that the gaps were like Swiss cheese because of the way the defensive line was. There were gaps.
Yeah.
Some of it was like, blow open a large hole. I just think about that Vikings game in particular Thursday night. That one still kind of
the Vikings won in the Lions game, Mason's famous game, where he Bush got cut up that game. And you're not wrong. That was definitely the worst part of his game last year, I believe, was his hesitancy to fill and his unsureness of where he was going on the field. Hopefully that takes a step in the opposite direction this year. Too early for me to see. Someone else said this said this very well. They were doing an interview after the practice. I think it was Brian. I feel so bad I can't remember his last name. He works for the Post-Gazette. Brian, not a Rappo, but something like
Batco.
Yeah. So he mentioned that Bush hasn't done anything bad. He just doesn't, like Jack and Spillane, to his credit, have stuck out at times. Bush is just kind of like there. And with his pedigree and what you want from him, you would like to see a little bit more. He's not doing anything wrong, but you hope that he can improve. And that really is like all my defensive notes from the day. I said early on, all 3 quarterbacks started off pretty crisp. I didn't have much complaints after the first half hour, 45 minutes. Next, I have Calvin Austin, had a good sweep at one point. Brooke Pryor had it down for 15, 16 yards. I thought it was 10, but I was on the side. So good sweep. They're using Calvin Austin in a way that you would expect him to get used in Matt Canada's offense. His quickness and his burst certainly jumps out in person. Didn't do much more than that. Not that he had a bad day, just not the most eventful day. I have Durant greater than symbol Warren. I think if you're going to get into the nitty gritty and try to nitpick and decide which undrafted free agent running back is better, Durant, I think, had a better day. He's just more explosive and offers more than Warren does. I know Warren is a thicker dude, and he's got his pluses and minuses to his game. The Oregon State product, Durant is from Duke. But if I'm picking gun to my head, I think Durant had the better day. And I prefer Durant as the type of player that they would hold on to. McFarland and Snell got their lion's share today with Najee dinging up his foot, which Tomlin has already dismissed as he just got stepped on and they didn't want to like push him any further after his day. And I can attest to that because I saw Najee off to the sideline with his shoe off and like he was doing like calf flexes and walking around without a limp. And he didn't seem upset. His shoulder pads were on the whole time. I think they just wanted to pull the gas off him to, or take their foot off the gas with him to prevent any further injury. So I wouldn't panic about Najee. It did give McFarland and Snell and Durant and Warren a chance to get a lot of reps today. And McFarland looked good, genuinely. Snell didn't look bad. McFarland, though, he has popped to his game. And there were multiple times that it's hard to tell because you can't tell if the defense wants to really fully tackle or hurt him. But there were multiple times that McFarland busted through for a nice little squirt. And again, it's hard to tell, though, if the defense is letting up or if he's finishing like a try hard, like just trying to finish through the whistle. But he looked good. He looked good for all things considered with like him not getting any time last year, you know?
There's a lot of that, especially with shorts, even more so when the guys are just in t-shirts and shorts. It's like, okay, was this really what we saw? And I remember the whole screen pass from Mason on the bad snap thing that I was mentioning the other day. That was like legitimate Calvin Austin torched everyone. But then, like you said, you got these little squirt plays and would they've been tackled like, you know, for 2-yard gain instead of looking like they had a 12-yard gain, just simply because you're not going to hurt your teammate. You're not going to kill him. And
you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy who hurts somebody because you're trying a little too hard.
Not only that, and that really does put the defense at a disadvantage when you get into real live situations too. So that's why I always say the September football is very kind of gross, an extension of the preseason. And why do these teams have problems like tackling and this and that? And it's like the Steelers actually, believe it or not, kind of do more tackling than a lot of other teams. I was just listening. I think Craig Wolfley was talking about that too, ever since Tomlin has come along. And it was kind of like an under the radar thing. But of course, you only get allotted so many times you could actually put on the pads according to the CBA. So it's not like these guys can just go out there in pads every single day. But I was going to ask you, I heard Jerry Dulac had tweeted something. I wonder if I could find this from Jerry. You know, I got to see your tweets here. Most of them yours from the Steel City Underground account. Let me see if I can find Jerry Dulac's message here to Steeler Nation, because this was an interesting, I guess, observation. And let's see, I got it here. Let's see, Jerry says, I'm going to bring it up maybe a little bit bigger if I can. Most boring, uneventful, mundane back-on-backers drill I've ever watched at training camp. Best collision delivered by Miles Jack on Derrick Watt. Almost looks like Wyatt or Wait. Maybe only collision of the drill.
Lighten up, Jerry.
Yikes, man.
Get that stick out of the mud. I couldn't see backs on backers. It was on the far side of the field. Derrick Watt, though, it's funny he brings him up because Derrick Watt sprung a huge screen from Kenny Pickett. It was awesome. And he had they faked a run to either Durant, Warren, or McFarland at one point towards the end of practice, and like almost Statue of Liberty, but not quite, handed it to Derrick Watt and fooled everybody, myself included, the crowd. And Watt turned it upfield, I think, for about 10 yards. So, I mean, pretty cool seeing him get involved a little bit in the offense. I didn't have that written down, but I'm glad you brought up that tweet because I would have forgot to bring that up, that Derrick Watt seems to – everybody can relax. You know, I know he's making so much money and, like, he never gets used on offense. Well, it seems like they're trying to now, at least a little bit.
Not only that, there was like all these stupid tweets now because we're all blowing up Hayward all of a sudden.
I know, man. He's not even a fullback. I saw him do no fullback stuff today. He's a tight end. He's a tight end and a special teams player and like a flex back. Like those are his primary roles. He got flexed out into the slot today multiple times, slid across the formation to block. He's not a fullback by like any sense of the definition. I know it's like on his player profile, but he's more so a tight end than an athlete.
Well, it says fullback / tight end.
Yeah.
And it's just people, I think, were taking that as, well, they didn't use Derrick Watt. And since Derrick Watt's making the highest cap hit, he's a waste of money. He only gets like 2 snaps. It's like, forget about it. Derrick Watt, you only have 3 specialists that get to have like an actual, they should change this, to be completely honest. And I don't know that they ever will. But you get a kicker, a punter, and a long snapper. That's the only 3 specialists that you have on special teams. there's far more positions on special teams and players that are specializing. They're moonlighting as maybe a wide receiver, or in this case, a
Matthew Slater on the
fullback.
Patriots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All the way down the line. You got linebackers that specialize in this. I mean, look at Cordarrelle Patterson up until like last year where he's playing like a little bit of running back and trying to be
I agree,
Deebo
man.
Samuel.
I agree. They should designate
Yeah.
a specific like special team stud or something like that. Not that specifically, but I mean, Justin Lane has been that for us for a while. He plays no defense, but he's a gunner. And Derrick Watt, obviously, as you mentioned, Benny Snell is a good special teamer for us. And no one would know that unless you're a Steeler fan and watch all of the games and watch them punt. A lot of fans will change the channel if you're not a fan of the team and they're about to punt
Bathroom break.
or kick. Yeah,
well, it's the same thing
break.
in Heinz Field, or I'm sorry, Acrisure Stadium. Hey, you know what? I got the Heinz Field sign here. You got the Heinz Field shirt. We should mention it real quick before I forget. I think, let's see, how long have we got here still? I think tpublic.com. Thank you for the various swag here. And
Heck yeah. If there's one thing I love, it's a free shirt.
Got the Steelers emoji guy here. But let me see. I was going to take a look at if you go over to steelcityunderground.com/shop, and that's where you can go. You could see some of the things that we have available, like these shirts that we've got on today. And of course,
this Heinz Field one fits real good too. It's comfy, good fit, good athletic fit. It's not even washed yet. It came up in the mail today. I was worried to wear it because of creases. Fell out beautifully. Look at me. I've never looked better.
I don't know about that, but of course we've got that over on our store with TeePublic. They're running sales every now and then too. So if you're always worried about like you're not going to buy enough for shipping, take a look at that. Sometimes that'll save you at least the cost of that. And we got some different designs, and they're a little roomy, they're a little comfy. We also offer most of the same designs over on Amazon Prime as well. So check that out. Just a little bit of a short plug. If you'd like to support the platform here. And, we'll go from the end of your notes and combine with some of my notes. I felt like...
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done. Wow, okay, man. Keep it going. How much more you got?
Cut me off, bro.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What do you got now? Did you have Presley Harvin? You got any Presley Harvin punter news? We need some more specialty.
No, he still looks very large despite the 40-pound loss. I'm psyched for him. I am almost done though.
No, it's good. It's good. I actually thought you were done. We got into our little segue. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Hey, man, you know what? We've been doing this quite a long time now. Gained a lot of subscribers. Shout out. Thank you very much.
Yes.
But we're still feeling each other out. No worries. Lastly, I have Anthony Miller's spot to lose for the last receiver spot. I agree with you. He totally sticks out. I think he is a cut above Boykin, Vaughn, and I mean Gunner's pretty safe too, unless he loses the returner job. But Miller, if you're going to pick a guy of that bottom tier, if you want to call Miller in there, I think he's the safest of the bunch. He goes with first team often. Mitch's connection with him is awesome. He had multiple plays today that stuck out. He really has been impressive. And sometimes we have this guy in camp and he doesn't work out. He gets cut. But Miller has looked a cut above Boykin and Vaughn and Cody White. Even actually, not to discredit Vaughn because he is trying his best, he looked better than Boykin today. Boykin had a rough day. I hate labeling anybody as a loser of the day, but Vaughn looked better than Boykin in a sense where I think Boykin might be your classic. Every year, the Steelers and every NFL team signs 5 to 10 free agents, and we as fans all get excited about the potential and I can't wait to see this guy. And a lot of times, at least one or two of those guys gets cut before the season. And Boykin is your prime candidate for that to happen to right now, I think. Unfortunately, he tries hard, but he just, of the bottom tier group, he's the least. He excites me the least. And today didn't help in that department. I thought Vaughn played better, and Anthony Miller is a cut above.
Man, that's been my whole experience. If we want to just jump into wide receivers real quick.
Yeah.
Deontay obviously hasn't been practicing. So, with him out on the shelf and not getting anything done, it's been an opportunity for some of the other young guys to maybe showcase what they've been able to do. And among those, obviously the two rookies with George Pickens and Calvin Austin, but you could also jump right on in and talk about Anthony Miller. And Anthony Miller, not only that, man, he looks jacked. And I heard something about, like, I forgot what kind of training regimen he was doing, some type of leg day stuff, but he is lean, he is mean, he really understands. I think that this is it. This is the last hacienda. And I think he is a problem for the Steelers. It's a good problem and it's a bad problem. And the good problem is like you can never have enough talented players on your team. But in the case of the wide receivers, when you have Deontay and you have Claypool, you're already, we're talking 3 deep. Who gets the next set of reps? And I know that Mike Tomlin and company, oftentimes they don't like to throw the rookies on the field already, but George Pickett's already looks the part. And you got Miller out here just straight balling, and then Austin's balling as well. We mentioned Gunner.
Pickens is first team through and through. He's a first teamer. I'm fully convinced. He's out there all the time. And you're right with Austin though. They're easing him in a little more slowly, but Pickens is out there with first team. Like it's clear.
Yeah, I think so too. And I heard someone or read someone somewhere today had mentioned, I think it might have been Dale Lawley. It might have been somebody else. I apologize if it's wrong, and maybe several others. Everybody's out there. Brooke Pryor's out there. I actually bumped into Mark Cabali the other day. Jim Wexell's out there, and even Wexell, I think it may have pained Jim to say this, but he said that up until this point, this was before practice had started, and I don't think he did anything wrong today necessarily. It didn't seem like any of the quarterbacks did anything wrong, and they still did push-ups afterwards, so they're working as a group together. But
get that grit going.
He had said that Mason Rudolph had won up until this point, and we'll jump back to that after. But like with the wide receivers, there's just like, wow, Anthony Miller gives him a good problem, because if you don't want to throw these rookies out there right away, he's a veteran you could lean on. And it doesn't look like Deontay's going to be like, well, I'm not playing, or try and pull like a Lev Bell thing or something like that, where he really can't. He's going to get fined and lose money. But Miller can fill a lot of those roles and looks really good. He's still not like, he's not a large target. He's not like, Boykin is a little bigger. I think he's 6'4".
No, Miller drew AB comparisons coming out of Memphis because he's a smaller frame guy.
Yeah. And it doesn't look like it. He plays big. Really, and it's just everybody's finding him. I mean, Mitch is finding him, Mason's finding him, Kenny was finding him, but all 3 of those guys have struggled to connect with Boykin. And I mean, so far Boykin has been my disappointment. Could he be somebody? And you got another veteran that's laying around there, Steve Sims, and I can't find him on the field. I can't find him.
He's hot and cold. He caught the last pass of the day from Mason Mason broke the pocket and rolled out. I tweeted about this. I couldn't tell if it would have been a sack or not, but he hit him in the front corner of the pylon, and Sims completed the catch from what I could see. But yeah, he's very, like, I hate to say irrelevant or a can't body. It sounds so harsh, but it's really hard for him to stick out. Like Tyler Vaughn sticks out more than him, truthfully.
Yeah, Tyler Vaughn, if you're out there at camp, number 80, take a look at him. I was very impressed with him so far from USC. So let me see.
Yeah, good school.
I don't know what else to say about. I don't think I want to say anything else about wide receivers. Everybody wants us to talk about quarterback, and my point I was going to try and make earlier in the show was basically, well, let's make one for first examples. Oladokin is not getting any team reps type of work that I saw.
He gave the only pick of the day on one-on-ones, and it was the South Carolina kid, the multi-purpose defensive back.
Is that Chris Steele? Maybe.
No, he's from USC. He's the guy with dreadlocks.
Not Steiner.
Plessett.
Oh yeah, no, Carlin's Patel or whatever. Yes,
that sounds right.
Yes, we're digging, man. We're down on the bottom 10 of the roster, 80 to 90 that are there.
I tweeted. I said number 30 with the play. I can never remember. Isn't Carlin's Platel? That sounds right. Yeah, he tryout player, not even an undrafted free agent, tryout guy.
Yeah.
He's the one who picked Kenny off in the first day, and he took a late thrown comeback from Oladokin back for what would have been a pick 6.
Yeah, and so it's really, there might be 3-way. I'll tell you, the other day, the second day of practice, it was still Mitch out there, but Mitch and Mason probably had about 80% of the reps, and then you were lucky if Kenny had about maybe 20% of them. It was like they would run out of time, and it was just like, oh, well, sorry, Kenny. And I think what might end up happening, I said what was going to make the Yinzers' heads blow off here, is they might slide Mitch back to the QB2 reps and give Mason the QB1 reps, or maybe they'd even slide Mitch all the way down and give Kenny the second and Mitch the third. But there might be some more kind of distribution among all of them. You've got a not postseason, preseason game. We'll get to the postseason in like, December or January. The preseason game, first game's just around the corner. Like this upcoming weekend, it'll be a week away. It's about 10 days. No, my math's a little off on that, but it's not quite 2 weeks away.
Hall of Fame games this week, and I think usually after the Hall of Fame game, it's about 10 days, maybe.
So they're going to install some things. So it'd be interesting to see. Maybe they pull that. If they pull that trigger and they do it, it's going to probably be this week, because I imagine if they're going to install, Mitch will still be with the ones, and that's what some people. The thing that's most frustrating on social media right now is you have some folks that aren't even paying attention in camp. They think if you say that somebody threw a pick that you're running them through the mud. And it's not necessarily any of those things, and there's certain things that they're very concentrated on working on. Like we were saying, they weren't maybe necessarily passing as much today, and they were running the ball more and getting the running back some more work and trying to work on maybe some tackling. I had my Steelers pen. I've been playing with it here in the background the whole time. I threw it somewhere. Did the old David Letterman right off the desk.
Or Jimmy Fallon, he throws it at the camera.
Oh, does he do that now too? Update. Yeah. I don't watch it. The old weekend update, man. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald, man. He was my favorite. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I watched his special on the way home from Florida on the plane the one time. But you're right, dude. Here's the thing. I would love. I already said this. I would love to partake in the fun and thinking that Mason was demoted today. But I think that's a bit premature. I even heard that from like well-educated Pittsburgh reporters that were like, it's hard not to assume that he was demoted today. I think that's a bit much. I really do think that. Giving him 1 reps wouldn't be that crazy. I don't want to fall flat on my face and be like, oh, yeah, man, Mason's the 3 now. I think the Steelers and Mike Tomlin have been very honest and transparent that this is a true blue 3-man race. Like, yes, Mitch is the favorite. He's the one they think is going to start, but they're giving Mason his reps, they're giving Kenny his reps, and I would not be shocked if we heard, because I'm not going to go anymore, I don't think, if we heard that Mason was getting 1 reps after getting 3s today. And I'm sure Kenny will get 1 reps. I've maintained that since like 3 shows ago that I think Kenny will get 1 reps too. Mitch has already had his chalk full, and I think that'll continue. I think all 3 are going to get their fair share. I think today was just like really funny timing and God at work, giving me my moment in the sun there, watching Kenny do the 2 stuff all day. But I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. And on top of this, I was texting my cousin before this because he's a Mason guy like you. I said, dude, I have no reason to complain if Mason is playing good ball. That's what I've maintained this whole time. If he's playing good enough to like the point where like he is in the running for the starting spot, then I'm not like arguing that I don't like him anymore. That's the whole thing, is I just wanted him to show me good ball. And I've been impressed with his first few practices. So I'm not complaining about Mason. Today was just, it was very interesting to see how they deployed the quarterback reps. And I don't feel like I know much more about Kenny and Mason's positions on the chart. I just feel, I do feel like I know more that it does seem like Mitch is not running away with the job, but he like is getting the favoritism, and he's getting like most of the reps with the 1s and carrying himself and being treated like the 1.
Yeah, and he's, again, we said this before, both of us. He's the veteran, and as the veteran, he needs somebody to run the team. I mean, Mason's done it just a little bit periodically, but like I was saying, like there's people that aren't paying attention or seeing the same things that we're seeing, and then some of the reports that are coming out. And I was so kind of hesitant to say the things that I was saying about Mason and really trying to pull back and not be like, aha, see, I said he wasn't going to be completely like out of this race. And then some others. I feel that
too, dude. It's a shame. You feel like you have to censor yourself and like make sure that you're coming off unbiased. I feel that too. I try because I don't hate Mason really, but like I was trying to make sure that I was still tweeting about him today and making sure that I was like, yeah, that was a drop. Good ball by Mason. Or like, yeah, I can acknowledge that he has looked good so far. And today wasn't anything special, but up until today, I can acknowledge that he's looked well enough that he's gotten media circles talking about the potential of him winning the job. So yeah, the people who don't want to come off their stances, I mean, that's their own vibe, I suppose. And that separates the at-home fan who bitches about everything from people like you and me who get paid handsomely to do what we do and talk about this.
Oh yes, absolutely. They're very, very
free shirts galore.
Hey, you know what? I've got the Scrooge McDuck vault that I go and I swim in after we get off the air. So like
Speedo ready on the hook.
Yeah, well, that's what's on underneath the desk. You can't
Right
tell. It's
on,
the
me too,
T-shirt.
bro.
I'm like,
It's a
yeah, I'm
shame we
going
should have coordinated.
gonna go swim in my money and my gold coins, the pirate booty. Uh, anyways, yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to say until I gotta see more. I do have to see
Exactly,
more.
exactly. You got to see more, man. There's not. That's why today was so cool to be there because I felt like I was actually getting some good action with the pads and like marginally full contact. We got to wait till game start though. We're not going to be able to draw any definitive conclusions until that point.
And I was trying to find the Mike Tomlin quote because he said about the same thing. I know you guys are going to write the headlines, but don't read anything into the
That was
one,
pretty
two,
much
and
it. He said
threes.
that, and he said that they're going to
Yeah.
continue with a similar rotation. So that's what you can draw. It's like Mason isn't. He's not done yet. Like he's going to still get 2 reps, possibly 1. Kenny's still going to get 3 reps, possibly 2, possibly 1. Mitch is going to get a lot of 1 reps still. That's what I took from it. Tomlin is pretty honest most of the time. He'll still embellish, but I believe what he's saying there. That like, yeah, of course you're going to talk about it. He's the first round pick, and he succeeded Mason for a day. But I'm sure that we haven't seen the last of Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, and you know what? And as soon as I say that, Brooke tweeted this a little bit
I
ago
saw that. I
too.
knew
Yeah,
that would get under your skin.
stock up, stock up. Not like Delonte Scott, stock up. Yeah, okay. The running backs, Dan Moore, Mason Rudolph. I mean, offensive lineman is interesting. It's just like she had to take a shot at Mason, and then of course she was the one who cried wolf on the Najee Harris thing as first. And see, whoever commented on this, they're probably not watching. They said they already stopped. I said Najee, but I've been listening to Matt Williamson or Dale Ollie or somebody on that damn SNR has been calling him Najee, and it threw me off. And then they're like,
Yeah,
you don't even know
yeah.
how to say the guy's name right. And I've been saying Najee like the last 1,000 times. Give me a
You have.
break.
We've been really good on this
I
show.
know.
Absolutely. That was the first time I heard you slip up in a long time, honestly.
Yeah, the Monte KZ. And they got some of the guys calling him Kazi or Kazi or Fozzie or
I'm almost
whatever.
positive it's Casey. I think I looked that up too.
Yeah, I've heard it in a game. I've heard like Joe Buck or one of these morons,
Yeah.
like the Chris Collins worthless or somebody, saying their stuff. And that one I said intentional. I didn't screw up his name. I like a Freudian slip here. So, anyways, I'm getting fired up, man. I don't know. The quarterbacks is the most important thing that's going on. It's Najee all the way. Maybe they get somebody else. I know they brought in Jordan Howard for a tryout, and we were talking about that a little bit. And I'm not like the biggest. I guess he still has done okay and might have some gas in the tank, but he's really like the north-south type of guy. He's caught some passes in his career, but Tariq Cohen was primarily that type of guy. And they have Jeremy Mcnichols, and people are talking about whether Mcnichols. I've seen some of the clickbait articles already. It's like somebody scraping the bottom of the barrel for something to talk about. And it's like Mcnichols is a little bit of an afterthought in some of these workouts. They already know what he can do.
Wait, what number is Mcnichols?
Oh, is he wearing
30?
Yeah, he went 34. I think your boy Kevin Durant is wearing 30.
He's 40.
Or is it Warren's wearing 30?
I thought I fucked that up majorly because I kept calling number 30 Warren all day. So I thought that I was like, wait a minute, was that I didn't see Mcnichols all day. Mcnichols, I didn't see him all day, not once. That's crazy. That didn't even occur to me all day, even when Najee got hurt.
Where's he at? Mateo's 40.
Yeah.
Warren's 30, so you're right.
Mateo's got the dread, so I can see that.
And Carlin's Platel's also got 30, the old curse. And Mcnichols is wearing 33. I almost wanted to say he was wearing 34 because it was Trey Edmonds' number.
Yeah.
Edmonds.
No, I didn't see much of him at all, and I think I might be beat on the Jordan Howard thing. As I said to you in the back rooms, I would be all for that, just because of his pedigree and what I think he can do. Granted, I didn't pay attention to his career at all last year, but that was like 2 days. That was 2 days ago or yesterday that he visited, and he didn't sign. And I mean, maybe now with Najee's foot getting stepped on, they might try to bring him in. Maybe a little sense of urgency, get him in the building. But I thought that we would have seen it done by now if they were bringing him in. And again, I was encouraged from what I saw from Anthony McFarland today and Mateo Durant. Benny Snell was kind of neutral, and Warren didn't move the needle much for me. But I don't think they need to bring in Howard. We'll see how Najee's foot is. Hopefully not a big deal. I don't think it is.
I'm liking, Durant stood out to me. Of course, I said I didn't know which number, but it's like, yeah, you know why? Because living in the moment, I'm trying to remember, and I got the chicken scratch notes. One last quick fire flash round. since we kind of got into the flash round. No, we don't have anything defensively today. The offensive lineman. Hey, anything on Kendrick Green? Was he ones or two? I didn't see him. Notice by.
I didn't do a good job of watching the lines other than getting a feel of like who was first team and second team. I did do a winners, no losers. My winners were Mitch, Pickens, Gunner, Miles Jack, Spillane, and Vaughn. And the fact that Najee didn't get terribly hurt, I have as a winner. And then I have Kenny and like asterisks just for getting his shot with the twos, but I'm not qualifying him as a true blue winner of the day.
Fair enough.
But Mitch, Pickens, Gunner, Miles Jack, Bobby Spillane, and Tyler Vaughn all stuck out in positive fashions. I guess Connor Hayward too, but he had those 2 drops. But I'm trying to take it easy on him because, I mean, watching his day, I would have been gassed out there. Like he's getting a lot of burn on all the teams.
Yeah.
So
now the biggest winner of the day by far is Chris Boswell.
Oh,
4
yeah.
years,
There you
$20
go.
million extension with 12.5 guaranteed.
Hell yeah.
So-
Coming off of our last talk about the Madden ratings, dude, he is
Yeah.
the top of the game, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, we're up against it actually more than I think we wanted to do. So thanks, man. Thanks for catching all the giving the people what they want from Latrobe, and we'll be back out there and seeing some more stuff throughout the week. End of the week, Friday Night Lights, of course, at the Latrobe High School. And I don't know. I have my winner for the day being Chris Boswell, but then again, I'm here in the studio, man. I was locked down and just trying. My head still whirring a little bit from the cars going in circles and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. I have to admit. Took my mom, my 75-year-old mother. She wanted to see some stock car racing, so I said, hey, you know what? Take some time out. Well, Steelers, they didn't have anything scheduled for Sunday, so it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I really wanted to be there for the first padded practice, but they'll get some more pads on. They'll do it during Friday Night Lights too, so not missing out too much.
It was really cool, but it had like a
me.
boring feel to it at some points. Like there weren't any like super crazy things that happened today, so it was cool seeing the pads pop, but you didn't miss much, brother.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you're missing out. Head on over TeePublic, SteelCityUnderground.com/shop, Heinz Field Forever, all kinds of other stuff. Check it out if you get a chance. Until next time, though, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. My name's Joe Kuzma. His name is Zach Celadonia, Little Red from Latrobe. Looking a little bit like the ketchup bottle, my friend. So
It'll be tan next episode.
Yeah. I got a little bit of that still carrying over from the Florida vacation. You maybe lost it a little bit. Playing around with the mouse yourself just a few weeks before I got down there kind of gave me a little bit of a push because I was thinking about it and I took the dive. So anyways, we'll talk McDonald's and other stuff later. We'll let everybody go here because we'll have some more shows coming throughout the week. Thank you for supporting Steel City Underground. And until next time, as we always do on the program, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.